I seek leave to move amendments 1 to 10 and 12 to 15 as circulated in my name.
You're seeking leave to move the amendments, first of all, as circulated in your name? Do you want to agree? Together?
Yes, to move them together, sorry.
Okay, no problem. Is leave granted?
Leave is granted.
Leave is granted. The member for Curtin may proceed for 1 to 10 and 12 to 15 of those amendments circulated in her name.
I move amendments 1 to 10 and 12 to 15 as circulated in my name. I commend the government for taking on the difficult task of reforming our national environmental laws. It's been more than 2 decades since the EPBC Act was passed, and it's well overdue for an update. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to restore trust, protect nature and deliver faster, fairer decisions for business. But that promise will fall flat if the reforms create new loopholes that make these reforms irrelevant, because even the strongest framework means little if you can simply step around it. Under the current EPBC Act, the Minister has what's known as a national interest exemption, a break-glass power designed for genuine emergencies like natural disasters. And it's a rare tool used only 31 times since 2000, mostly in good faith. It's not perfect, but it's understood. It exists for extreme situations, not convenience. But the new reforms go much further. They introduce a new pathway, a national interest proposal or approval, that allows the Minister to bypass almost all environmental safeguards whenever they decide a project is in the national interest. Unlike the original exemption, this one isn't limited to emergencies. It could be used for anything from housing to energy projects, with no clear limits on what the Minister can take into account. And that means a Minister could approve a project even if it causes unacceptable impacts, even if it pushes a species to the brink of extinction. Every environmental safeguard in this bill, the mitigation hierarchy, the net gain standard, the unacceptable impact test, could be waived by the stroke of a pen. Now, this isn't a safeguard, it's a shortcut, and it undermines the integrity of the entire system. It's bad for the environment and it's not great for business either. Investors can't make long-term decisions on the hope that they'll be deemed to be in the national interest. They need certainty, not ministerial discretion. Let's be clear, you can't streamline approvals by cutting out the environment. This national interest pathway is an admission of failure, a way of saying we can't balance environmental protection with economic development, so we'll just make it optional. My amendments that I'm putting up today would put some safeguards around this power. First, if the government insists on keeping the new pathway, fossil fuel projects must never qualify. It would be absurd to claim that new coal or gas projects are in the national interest when science tells us they are fundamentally against it. Second, there must be full transparency whenever this power is used. The current bill would let the Minister redact the statement of reasons, hiding the rationale for bypassing environmental law. And if a project truly is in the national interest, the government should have the courage to explain why. Ideally, this new pathway should be removed completely, but the legislation is complex and in the time given I haven't been able to draft a complete removal of this new pathway. Another major weakness in this package is the offsets fund. On paper, it's a neat idea, the restoration contributions holder. When a project can't fully avoid environmental damage, the developer pays into a central fund that delivers restoration projects on their behalf. In theory, it creates efficiency. In practice, it's risky. And we've seen this model before in New South Wales, in Queensland and in the Pilbara, and it consistently under-delivers. Developers destroy habitat, pay into the fund and walk away. The fund then struggles to find suitable offsets, and nature ends up footing the bill. That's the pay-to-destroy problem. A cheque is written, a project proceeds, and the promise of restoration fades into paperwork. Without strong guardrails, this fund risks becoming the single point of failure for the entire reform package. So I'm introducing a series of amendments to increase the likelihood it actually works for business, for government, and most importantly for nature. First, limit the use of the fund. It should be the last resort, not the default. And my amendments ensure that there is another layer to the mitigation hierarchy, and proponents must seek to offset directly where they must follow principles such as like for like and net gain before using the fund, which does not have to follow the same principles. Second, ensure suitable offsets actually exist before money is accepted. The fund should have to advise the Minister whether it can realistically deliver an offset. And there should also be an excluded matters list, because you can't destroy the last of something and call it an offset. Thirdly, we need to price offsets accurately, and that's dealt with in another bill. And fourthly, there must be transparency around success and failure of projects, which we've already discussed. There also needs to be scientific oversight so that the advisory committee includes scientists who understand biodiversity, not just balance sheets. This reform package could really deliver what Australians have demanded, but that promise depends on integrity in how powers are used, how offsets are priced and how results are reported. And the national interest shouldn't be a loophole, and offsets shouldn't be a licence to destroy. We must build a system that restores rather than excuses, that protects nature and delivers real outcomes to the Australian people. I commend the amendments to the House.